Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I kind of thought this setup would be cute, but I don't know that I feel like it is cute. So let me know if you enjoy seeing everything that's behind me. I also just didn't want to put up a background, but I thought this was kind of cute. You can see all my plants and stuff. I don't know. So today we're doing a favorites video. I feel like I haven't done a favorites video in a very long time. So this one is going to encompass both January and February. Because I didn't do one there. And obviously I've had a lot of extra time, especially in February, to like do stuff and play with stuff. Not really buy things, because things have been closed for the last year. But there's still stuff to talk about nonetheless. So we're going to start with like skincare, sort of. And then we're going to move into other stuff, okay? So the first skincare thing I wanted to mention is the Laneige water sleeping mask. I bought this from Winners. And what I love about this is it's a very, very hydrating, thick gel. How do I describe that? A thick gel. Like, it goes on and it doesn't soak in immediately like other gel moisturizers I've used. It does kind of stick around for a while, but it does eventually soak in, which I appreciate because I feel hydrated for a long time. And then usually by the time I go to bed, it's not so heavy still that it's going to transfer. It doesn't feel like it clogs my pores because it's a gel. And it's just overall so nice. I have the eye sleeping mask, like the one like this that's in a tall skinny bottle, and it's for your under eyes. I just love it. I feel like I've loved everything I've ever tried from Laneige. They just kick ass every single time. So I bought this at Winners, and it was only like $20, and honestly, I would probably pay the full price for it, because it is so good, and I still like it. And it did come with a little spatula, so don't worry, I don't have to like stick my hands in here. I just really appreciate this, and I think it's great. The other sort of skincare thing I want to show you is, really you should have one of these in like a real stone, but I bought mine off Shein, so I'm sure it's like plastic or glass or something. But this, I feel so silly talking about this. This is called Gua Sha, this little stone. And basically what you do is you massage your face with it. So what I would do is at night, whether I put on a nighttime like moisturizer or I'm using this, like you just kind of, you start at the top and you work your way down and you like pull out, you know, and then your cheekbones kind of perfectly fit in there. And so does your jawbone, and it just feels nice. Like, it feels so nice to have, like, that little face massage, and, you know, it sort of helps with, like, lymphatic drainage and all of that, and overall, the reason I use it is because it feels like it pushes my moisturizer deeper into my skin to help hydrate, and because it feels nice. Like, I carry a lot of my sort of tenseness in my face and in my neck, so having something that I can, like, work that out with, is great. I also have one of those Jade Rollers, but I always feel like I can't push hard enough with the Jade Roller. Like, I'm such a push really hard on my muscles kind of person because they get so tight. So that's what I really like this Gua Sha for. I don't know that I would recommend it to everybody, especially if you don't have a high pain tolerance, because it can hurt, and especially if your skin is more sensitive, because my skin isn't sensitive and it goes bright red when I use this. But it does just feel great. It really releases some of the tension that I keep in like my jaw, under my cheekbones, and that sort of thing. I'm having a very hard time explaining why I like this, but I do. There we go. I also have really gotten into sleeping with a sleep mask on. This one is also from Shein, but I have another one just like it that I got for Christmas a couple years ago. Here's the thing, my room has a lot of light pollution, both from things that are on, like even if my computer, the screen is off, there's like a light on at the bottom, and my MacBook is plugged in, so there's a little light on the plug. And my plant light back here, for some reason, when the lights are off, there's a little blue light on the sort of plug part that turns on, and it's so bright. All of that aside, I also have to sleep with my blinds open because the cats get tangled up in them at night. And there's a lot of light pollution from the very busy street that my window faces. So overall, I've kind of, like, I can see how a lot of people don't like sleeping with these on. It does take some getting used to, but I sleep so much better now that I can sleep in complete darkness, because before it was like everything was just, even with my eyes closed, it was distracting my eyeballs because it was so bright in here when there were things flashing and cars going by and all of that. So if you have a lot of light pollution in your room at night, regardless of what you do, like I do, try sleeping with one of these masks on. It's awesome. I've also recently gotten really back into The Ordinary. So a couple of weeks ago, or was it last week, I reviewed The Ordinary concealer. I really love this for covering acne. I use it under foundation. My acne has been really bad lately. It's getting better, but it has been bad lately. So I just put it on any sort of redness spots before I put on my foundation, and it does a great job of helping to sort of cancel that out. And then the foundation that I've been wearing lately is also from The Ordinary. It is, of course, the Serum Foundation. I wish I had a different shade of this. I didn't realize that I bought 1.1N. It is a little pale on me. It's what I'm wearing right now. I wish I had Like, it sounds silly, but I do wish I had 1.2N, because that would just be a little bit darker, and it would just make me look a little less pale. I can definitely tell when I put this foundation on that it's a little light for me, but that's okay. You know, I'll just wear bronzer and contour and that sort of thing like I am today, to help sort of bring some warmth back to my skin. So I've been wearing the Ordinary Serum Foundation. I have always loved it. I probably will always love it. And it was funny because one of the Welsh twins, oh my god, it's awful, but I remember which one is which. The makeup one did a video the other day on the Ordinary, both foundations and the concealer. And overall, he basically had the same thoughts as me, except for he hated the coverage concealer more than I didn't like it. I like it. I just liked this one better, whereas he hated the coverage foundation, but he loved this one. I don't feel as strongly about the coverage foundation, but I love this foundation. This is my favorite foundation of all time. And a friend of mine actually asked me for a foundation recommendation, and I recommended this, and she could not believe that my favorite foundation is so inexpensive. She was like, I thought it would be much more expensive than that. No, girl. The least expensive foundation in my collection, before we decluttered it, is my favorite foundation. So then, since I've had all this time on my hands, something that I've really gotten into is sewing, because I'm not an idle hands person. Like, a lot of people can, like, sit and binge watch shows, and I definitely had that ability, but I don't have that ability for very long, because I just like doing something. I like doing a task and having something to show for it afterwards. That's, you know, why I loved my job so much, because there was always something to show for it. So I've really gotten into making face masks. These two I made last night. I think that's in Sunday's vlog. But I made this one with, like, leaves on it and the green on the inside, and then this one with, like, a cheetah-y print, and then black on the inside. This cheetah fabric is from Michaels. This plant fabric is from Walmart. And there's wire in the nose on both of these, and they fit me, like, perfectly, obviously, because I have my own face here to sit and make adjustments and fit it to. That's probably one of the main reasons why I don't think I'll ever make masks to sell, is because I do make them. Like, I'm not an expert sewer by any means. I'm, like, barely, you know, I'm still a beginner, is what I'm trying to say. So I really need someone's face to fit them to if I'm going to make them a mask. And that's just difficult. You can't really do that when you're selling them. So I made these, and then I've also been into making bags lately. I made this bag the other day, and it's like my favorite bag that I have made out of the two bags that I've made. So it has this sort of witchy fabric on the outside. See, there's cauldrons and plants and a frog and a snake. And then this ribbon actually came off the flowers that my sister sent me when I lost my job. And then I did purple on the inside to sort of match. Now, that's something I'm a little bit butthurt about, is I didn't know how to line it properly, and I have since learned, so I'm low-key thinking of unpicking it, just so I can, because there's, like, raw edges in here. Like, I could do that better now. And part of me is like, I could just make a new one, but then I'm like, but I don't have much of this fabric left, and then this ribbon, and I don't know, but I made this bag. I think it's very cute. I was going to put my, like, rocks and my crystals and stuff in it. I'm not sure that I still will, but I have to use it for something. I haven't figured out what to use it for yet, but I still think it's just really cute, and I love it a lot. And then the last sort of physical thing that I have here that I want to talk to you about is my ZZ plant. I was going to show you a whole bunch of plants individually, but I kind of do that in my vlogs all the time. So I decided not to. Just know that I bought a polka dot begonia immaculata off of Facebook Marketplace, and I'm very excited because that was my dream plant. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about my ZZ plant. Because here's the thing about my ZZ plant. If you have been around my channel for a while, a year at this point, my birthday last year, you know, it's March 16th. And then my last day of work before we were starting working from home was March 18th. And I only did a half day March 18th. So on my way home from work on March 18th, you know, a couple of days prior, I had been to the grocery store because I went every morning before work to get a snack because it was right before Starbucks. And I had seen the ZZ plant. And I wanted it because I didn't have a ZZ plant. And then lockdown was coming. And March 18th was going to be my last day at work, and so on my way home from work, on that half day, my last day, I went to the grocery store, waited in line, because, you know, everyone was panic buying toilet paper, to buy this ZZ plant, to rescue it from the pandemic, because I knew things were about to close, and I didn't know if they were going to close off parts of the stores that weren't essential, and houseplants aren't essential, obviously. So I just kept thinking, like, if I leave this ZZ plant there, it's going to die. No one's going to take care of it. So I bought the ZZ plant. It hasn't grown a ton since I got it, probably because I don't have it in a particularly highlight spot. But this whole stalk is new from when I got it. And then this one at the bottom here is coming up, and that one is fairly new. It was just a couple of leaves down farther down when I got it. But I just want to point out this plant because even though, I don't know that I can call it a January, February favorite because I've had it for a long time, I am almost about to celebrate my 1-year anniversary with this plant, and I haven't killed it. And actually, this is some very, very dry soil. I should probably water it. I'll probably do that right after this video. And I'm just very proud of myself for rescuing this plant in a pandemic. Risking catching the virus to save this plant, and then keeping it alive for a year now. I just love this plant. And I'm very happy that I have it. I know Sam has a ZZ plant too, and I'm very excited about it. To be honest, I've been kind of like a boring content consumer these last couple of months because I really just listen to Folklore and Evermore, the Taylor Swift albums, because I love them so much. I just listen to them. I don't really do much else. I do watch a lot of Ghibli, but not all the Ghibli movies I haven't seen. There are a bunch I haven't seen. I really just watch my favorites over and over again. I watched Spirited Away 8 times in 1 week the other week because I just put it on while I was sewing, and then it would end and I would just put it back on. So Spirited Away, Arrietty, Howl, Kiki, those ones, the really big box office-y type Ghibli movies that I love. I've been watching those a lot. And I recently started watching Clone Wars again because it's what I like about the Clone Wars show is it's meant for kids. So it's very easy to watch. I don't have to aggressively pay attention to understand the plot of the episode, especially the more of it I watch, the more I understand the planets and the sort of main players and that sort of thing. So it's a really good show for me to watch while I'm sewing or while I'm crafting or while I'm doing whatever. So I've been watching a fair amount of the Clone Wars lately, and the only movie I want to mention to you is that I did finally see the movie that started this apocalypse, Cats. Here's the thing about the Cats movie. I can't help but wonder if Tom Hopper, that's his last name I think, right? Do you think he's ever seen a cat in his life? Here's the problem. They had such an immaculate cast for that movie, but it just looks messed up. I love the musical Cats. I love the music of the musical Cats. A lot of people were complaining about the movie and saying it doesn't have a storyline, but it does. And the thing about the movie versus the musical is they went out of their way to dumb it down for audiences in the sense that they have dialogue in the movie to explain the plot to you about going to the Heaviside Layer and who Old Deuteronomy is. They inserted dialogue into the movie to explain that. So anybody who tells you that the movie doesn't have any plot is just really stupid, honestly. But it just looks so weird. And it's one of those things that I went into it knowing that people said it looked weird, so I was keeping an open mind. I was like, maybe it's not as bad as everyone says it is. It's awful. It's a scale issue. My brain watches this movie and it's nonsensical because you have one scene where Rebel Wilson is a cat and she's looking at mice, and the mice are this big compared to her, and then a little bit later in the movie you have cats dancing on the side of a railway and the cats are this big compared to the railway. So you're how big are these cats? I don't understand. And then they go back. They don't keep the scale consistent. And that's what really bothered my brain throughout, because they put these cats in these different settings and visually it never makes sense. That coupled with the fact that the human faces on the cats often don't work properly. It sort of reminds me, have you ever seen Breaking Dawn Part 2, in the Twilight Saga? I love Twilight. Just throwing that out there. But in Breaking Dawn Part 2, the way that they CGI'd the baby's face onto the baby, it never looks right. It's always a little bit off. It's the body's moving, but the head is a little bit over here. And that's one of the biggest things that bothers me when watching the Cats movie, especially during memory. Jennifer Hudson, she's got this phenomenal voice and she gets to sing this big iconic Broadway song, and her face is melted into this cat body that doesn't. They would have been better off just dressing up the actors as the cats in the Broadway musical. It's just frustrating. It's so frustrating because I love the Phantom movie so much, and I love the sort of movie version of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. So I know what the movie version of the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical can look like. And there was so much potential with Cats, and I just don't know why. I feel it's so much harder to mess it up than it is to do it well. And Tom Hopper, whatever his name is, was just you know what? Let's do a really bad job at this for no discernible reason. I'm mad about it, and I'm going to stay mad about it. And I'm going to be mad about it probably forever, because why did he do that? It was so unnecessary. It would have been cheaper, probably, to just dress up people as cats. But instead, he decided to CGI it and make it look nonsensical. And I'm still mad about it. Oh, one other thing I want to mention. They finally put the most important version of Cinderella on Disney+. That is the one with Brandy, Whitney Houston, that whole gang. If you have not seen that version of Cinderella from 1997, go watch it right now. It is the only version of Cinderella that matters. It is the best. The music is the best. The voices are the best. The diversity in the cast is amazing. That movie has been like one of my favorite movies since I was a child, since it came out in 1997. And I love that it's on Disney Plus now because it's available to such a wider audience. I've had it on DVD for a very, very long time. I think I got it for Christmas one year because I asked for it, because I had seen it in a store somewhere. And I watch the DVD all the time, but now it's so nice to know that, it was on YouTube illegally before, but you can't be mad at that because there was nowhere else to watch it. And now that it's on Disney Plus, it just warms my heart to know that there are so many, maybe even kids out there, that are going to get to watch this absolutely fantastic version of Cinderella. It is one of the few movies where I do feel like the live action is better than the animated, because I'm really not a fan of the original animated Cinderella. I'll be honest with you, there are a lot of animated Disney movies that I love. Cinderella is not one of them, but the live action one with Brandy is perfect. Like, there's nothing wrong with that movie. It's so good. My sister and I, we sing the Stepsister song all the time because that's us. We don't relate to Cinderella, we relate to her weird AF sisters, okay? That's just who we are. Everything about that movie is so great. And anyway, as Julie Andrews would say, these are a few of my favorite things from January and February of this year. Just a couple of skincare things, a couple of makeup-y things, my latest craft. Congratulations to my ZZ Plant for making it a year, almost, with me. I can't believe we're still in this together. Still in a lockdown, still in a pandemic, but you're alive, and that's all that matters. What are some things that you have loved during the first 2 months of this year? I would love to hear all about it in the comment section below, so please let me know. And anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not subscribed already, and I will see you next time. Bye!